Okay, so we will start with introduction of to this subject, which is digital signal processing. Okay, digital signal processing. So first question to be answered is why we are what is the use of this, right? Why do we need digital signal processing? So first thing which we we could answer this with a fact like first thing what we can safely say is like our nature is analog. Okay, nature is analog. So first thing like what you hear, audio signals, right? What we human ear hears, right? So that is a analog system, an analog signal audio. Then you have something called as biomedical signals. These are analog signals. Then you have this radio signals. Those are analog signals. Then you need that for military applications. You need whatever you hear, all those audio signals, whatever the systems which are used to record this are analog in nature. So you need so these signals need to be processed. Why do you need to be, why they need to be processed? Like analog signal, a simple analog signal or a continuous time signal will look something like this, right? Something like this. This is your time domain. This is your x of t. Just think about this signal. Now how many points will be there on this particular, think about like let's say 0 to 5 seconds. Let's say this is 5 seconds. Okay, so in this 5 seconds of data, how many samples will be, how many points will be there? So we have studied it in our high school where the line in between these 2 points there are infinite points, right? So when you are trying to process any continuous time or analog signals, right? So continuous time signals, the issue is you need to have this something called as analog circuits. First of all, analog circuits. Second, you have the storage becomes a issue. Storage becomes an issue because you have infinite points to be stored, right? Storage becomes an issue. Then another issue is these let's say there is your specification changes. Think about a filter. Okay, you are designing you must have designed it in your class, which is EDC class, right? Let me just add first. Okay, you must have designed a filter, let's say a LC filter or RC filter or a RC filter. So think about a RC filter, something like this, right? So the issue here is this is a simple RC filter. Now let's say that the cutoff frequency, it works from 0 to let's say 100 hertz. Okay, this is this basically acts like a what is it? It acts like a low pass filter, right? It's 0 to 100 hertz, and you have a certain value of 100. Let's say this is 1k resistor and 1 microfarad, something like that. Okay. Now, if I want to change this specification, let's say tomorrow I don't want 100 hertz, I want 300 hertz. Okay, what will happen? I'll have to redesign this. I'll have to redesign this guy, right? So when you are redesigning, I have to go again to the market, get new components, reassemble it. Now, when this particular design or this particular circuit is right now there in your product, think about a product which is doing audio processing. So let's say I'm doing some audio processing where the input is coming from, there is a input which is coming here, and I'm processing it and I want to process it further, store it somewhere. Now I'm interested in 0 to 100 Hz initially. That's why I designed this filter, and there was a filter here somewhere, and I got the output. Now when I'm tomorrow I sell this product, and tomorrow the company tells me that okay, I need to change the specification, I need to accommodate 200 more Hz, 0 to 300 Hz. In that case, I need to redesign it. So this whole process becomes very cumbersome, right? So because and it's not what you call efficient, because I need to now again get the components, new components from the market, reassemble it, and then change it. So the whole point of analog processing, the issue is like redesign is one issue. Then stability is a issue, because the components tend to change with respect to temperature. As the temperature increases, you will get a certain value of resistance will change, capacitance may change. So those kind of issues come up. Then it's like stability and your efficiency are serious issues. In our day-to-day life, we have these processing elements like something like mobiles, we have computers, right? We have these laptops with us, laptop or desktop computers. We have these laptops. So in here, these guys are all digital processing units. They process the information digitally. Okay, they are digital. So what exactly happens is, if I need to design a filter in this computer itself, I may need to just change some resistor values. So when I do a int a equal to something, or r equal to something, and c equal to something, and I'm implementing this particular filter using a program, I just need, if tomorrow the specification changes, I just need to change the value of r or c, which is a variable. Okay, that becomes more convenient compared to changing these components here. So that's why people prefer now going into the digital domain for processing. Why do you need processing? Like for example, any sound coming in from let's say there is a guy who is like singing something on the mic. Okay, so this has got this audio needs to be processed, because this audio, when it's coming in, it's got a huge the size is huge, the size is very big. Okay, so I need to actually reduce the size, I need to compress it. Okay, because a human ear is not able to will not be able to differentiate between like original voice and the processed voice. That's how the compression works now. Compression industry has become very what do you call, good in terms of like think about like you listening to a CD quality songs and listening to a MP3 song. You will not be able to make a difference. You will not be able to find which one is MP3 player and which one is a MP3 encoded song and which one is a CD quality song. CD quality is pure, which is like, it's actually a lossless compression. Here MP3 is lossy, so that's why you have like a typical song on a CD will be let's say 16 MB. Then for MP3 it will be hardly 2 MB or 3 MB, right? So that's because of the compression that the MP3 compression algorithm. This is the difference in size. So this is actually cost, right? Like if you need to store 16 MB just for one song, okay, on one pen drive, I mean I can store, in this case if that is the ratio you have, I can store 8 times more songs on the same storage, right? So that's basically, there is basically a cost factor. Second thing, another place is you have in military, whatever signals you are getting in, you need to actually analyze them. Okay, so analyze them on a system, on a computer, right? So when you are doing analysis, you are basically doing the analysis in this digital domain, right? So that's why you need this digital signal processing. Okay, first thing I told you, like here in this case, you need to you don't need to redesign. You don't need to redesign anything in when you are doing a digital signal processing or digital processing of a signal. You don't need it's much more stable. Okay, second thing, you have this readily available devices like computers, laptops on your right there with you, which you can use to do the processing. Analysis becomes easier when you are doing it digitally. Then storage values, storage, you can store and you can make it portable. Any song, think about like a continuous song, it's not possible to store. I mean, you will have to have a magnetic tapes when you are storing them. When you are storing any song, you will need magnetic tapes to write, right? So those are like hardly, I mean, you will not be able to store much. But now with when you process your songs digitally, you have this pen drive which you can just carry. You can put it on the internet, your recorded songs, right? So those are the advantages, okay, why you need digital signal processing.